Hello everyone and welcome back.
In this additional tutorial, we will know how to set up these tunnels after each other with a tool that helps you calculate the position and set the camera animation automatically. So it helps you avoid repeating the position for each tunnel. To start, we will assume that each of these tunnels have the 0 position. So I'm going to set all of these positions to 0 again. Alright, we are ready now. To start and have the tool, you will need to set up the Python add-on on your Blender by opening the Edit and then Preferences. Go to the Add-on tab here, and you will find to install from disk. You will find it in the Unity pack at this path. It's called Blender Tunnel Generator. Double click it, and you will find the add-on been set up. You'll find it in this tab. Click on it, and to start, you need to press that button and select the first tunnel to know the name, like select the tunnel, and press on it to select the right collection and the right first asset. Then, let's assume you have only 3 tunnels. You press recalculate position since it's always on the 0. Alright, make sure you pick the right axis, which in our case is the y-axis, since this is the forward. Okay, recalculate positions, build camera animation, and that helps you set the camera animation. Alright, so you able to, let's just be closer to that, you able to go through the tunnels one after each other. One cool step is just to create new tunnel from the previous. So if I press create new tunnel, it will create shape example 11, and that will be the exact same as the first one. So you're not starting from scratch, you're starting with the first tunnel you made. Automatically, if I created tunnel, it's gonna create from the first tunnel I made. At this case, this is the first tunnel I made. So instead, if I want to continue and use the last tunnel I made, I'm going to Control Z this and select the last tunnel and press that button, duplicate from previous, that allow me to take that, duplicate it, and set it to the next tunnel. So I'm going to create new tunnel now, and as you can see, this is the last tunnel I have. So I can go from here and start changing something. At this case, maybe I can rotate. So I'm able to move and then rotate in that new tunnel. As you can see, this is the last frame, so I need to press recalculate positions, build camera animation. That will make me update to the last tunnel I made. Alright, I'm gonna save that for now. Two last thing you need to do before exporting or doing anything. Probably you need to make UV maps, so you need to apply the modifiers. And the modifiers in this case is the geometry node procedural system we have. If I, for example, enter the edit mode, there is no geometry I have. So I need to apply all modifiers. And if I enter edit mode, I now can edit any shape I want. I'm gonna save, and I'm not gonna do this step and put it since you're not able to redo or get the modifier back. So I'm not gonna save these steps I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna apply modifier and generate UVs. Alright, and then I'm gonna export this example tunnels test. I'm gonna limit to selection and only select the tunnels. I'm gonna press export. Go to Unity. Alright, I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna clear this, remove this asset, drag the new file we made. So from this point, as you can see, here is all the tunnels and the camera at the beginning. To start to see how that looks, I suggest you to go make the scene is down here and move the camera forward so you're able to see each tunnel how it looks. Simply all of these tunnels have materials need to be set up, so you could do this real easily. For going to the FBX itself, go to the material tab and attach the materials from here. Dark blue, put it here, and this is the blue, this is the white color. Apply the materials, you will find this scene been updated. What is just left is to put the final touches to have the final look if you're planning to use this asset on Unity. But if you're planning to use that as a motion graphic or any other 3D usage, you could just use the Blender file directly and render the output with much better lighting on Blender. Let's get back to Unity in our example. And this export, we added the camera to the export file by selecting all of the tunnels by pressing Shift and get back pressing Control and select the camera. But for Unity usage, you could just create the camera object inside Unity. So we either could re-exporting that, or I could just remove the camera from the scene by unpacking that because it's considered as a prefab. So I'm gonna unpack that completely. Go here to the camera object and press delete, press right click on camera. It's now have these transformations. I'm gonna reset. Also, I'm gonna reset the position of the tunnels. There we go, rename it. I suggest the easiest way to animate to use a timeline. How to do that is adding label director component here. And same as usual of the animator, you need to create animator controller, but when you're using timeline, you will need to create timeline asset by going here, timeline, timeline asset. I'm gonna rename it as camera, and I'm gonna press into the camera and drag that timeline here. Next, I'm gonna go and put the scene beside the game view. Go to the timeline tab. You can open it from window, sequences, and timeline. You press again into the camera, you will find the timeline asset gonna be there. And from this point, you could animate anything on the scene. And how to animate the camera exactly, I'm gonna drag the camera here and create an animation track. What I just need to do is pressing the record button when I'm knowing that the camera in the 0 position, and just to record the first frame, I'm gonna slide it like that. So you can see here there is something got detected, and by knowing the blue arrow is the z-axis from here, I could just type a 0, so we're detecting this frame as the 0. Next, I'm gonna give it some time. Let's say I want to give it a 30 seconds to go through the tunnels, and I'm gonna go to the 30 seconds, and I could drag this here and stop recording, slide it back, so you're able to see your timeline moving. All right, and you could give it a try to see if it's going fast or something. Okay, it's going very fast. Something very nice at the timeline. If you double click the track, you could control it as a usual animation track. Zoom out to see much more keyframes and slide that back to something around here. Play and see. Going very fast. Okay, around 15
seconds. Is nice. Also, something I used in the example is to change the animation curve to delay the acceleration later. So now I'm gonna do this. Zoom out that way. I'm gonna add a keyframe here and slide that a little down so we're not moving that much on the at the beginning. Slow at the beginning, then it's accelerate. Maybe I need to move it a little up. Okay, there we go. So we have the basic animation here. Let's enhance the overall look. Since now we don't have any basic lighting on anything, we just have the lights which contain only directional light. I'm gonna disable that for now. Go to the camera, change the background from sky to a solid color, and I would like to put it as a solid black. Alright, in the Unity pack, for the volume profile I choose on that example, I'm just gonna create a simple volume, global volume, and inside the Unity pack, you will find the volume I created. Last thing we need is to bake lighting. And one of the things I planned early in that tunnel to have a self-emission material, and that's why you see here in Blender the scene been illuminated without any additional lights. So at this point you find a very nice lighting without even adding a single light on the scene. So we're gonna do the same thing in Unity, but this time with baked lighting. And here comes the reason why we need a UV map, so we're able to bake the lighting into the objects. Next, what we need to do is to have a control of the emissive material we attaching here. Just to override that, we're gonna go to the FBX export file that we made. Go here, go to the material tab, and select that light material. We're gonna replace it with something we can control. I'm gonna use the one I attached on the asset, light, and here's the LED material. Apply. So we're gonna drag it again. So as you can see, there's a difference between them. Set that to 0. Delete the previous one. And we could just hide the camera for now. So that way, we could replace the material in all of them instead of going through every one and change since the order is different sometimes. Let's go to the LED material, and whatever change you made here is applied to all of the objects. What is just left is to bake the lighting. Again, mark that as a static object. Go to the window from the toolbar, go rendering, lighting, and using the default lighting settings will be fine. So I'm gonna generate light for now. I'm gonna get back as soon as it's finished bake lighting and show you the result. Alright, we finished baking now. Let's see and review the result. Just something we could go in depth later. From my experience, how many emission materials you should put. For example, here we have a very large emissive material, so it's a little bad for the eye to have that all white on the screen. Probably it could be better if the white material was less, but let's continue to see. For example, my opinion, that tunnel is having a perfect percentage of emissive materials. That one is still too much, I think. Okay. That's little cinematic. That's good, as I mentioned. All right. From here, I think the emissive value should be a little high since the tunnel is bigger, so it needs much higher emissive material. Okay, that looks good. These are nice. And I think this is it for this patch of the project, and I try to cover everything in these tutorials. Again, this is not perfect, and I believe it's have a lot of improvements need to be done. That's why this is completely free, and I open for suggestions, and I'm super happy if anyone have any feedback on this, and I'm looking forward for the results that you can get from this asset. And if you like this result and what we're making here, make sure to follow us to receive the latest update for this asset or even for other projects. Thank you everyone, and bye for now.